All right. Good evening, everybody. So this is Jagan from Awakening Mind, and Awakening Mind is basically a non-for-profit learning and development community. So what we do in Awakening Mind is we conduct a lot of personal development workshops, book clubs, communication skill workshop, talk shows, panel discussions, all kind of things to make sure that everybody get empowered, everybody develop themselves toward internal growth. So today we are going to discuss on a very interesting topic. The topic of the talk show is specialized knowledge. So this has been taken from a book that is Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich was written in the year 1937, and the author was self-help author. He was Napoleon Hill. So how the history goes behind writing this book? I'll just give a little background before we talk more about specialized knowledge. So there was a steel tycoon. His name was Andre Carnegie. Andre Carnegie was basically a Scottish American who came to US somewhere in 1848, and he was started a life is very humble way, like a a telegrapher. So he was kind of a migrant. So obviously he was not having that kind of facilities that every people have it in their own hometown, home city. So he had a difficult childhood and kind of that, and he struggled a lot, by the way. But over a period of time, he created massive fortune. He came with only 20 euros to US America. But when he retired at the end of his life, he was he constituted almost 2% of the GDP of US. And he was one of the richest in ever in the history of America. And that kind of, the story behind it, the story goes from rags to riches story. That's one of the best stories ever. And Napoleon Hill was very curious, made such a big fortune. Was it something magic? Was it some kind of, something happening? How it happened? So Napoleon Hill got some time to discuss with Andre Carnegie, and Andre Carnegie told him the secret which made him riches. And that secret, he also told that this is something very important, that this secret, money-making secret, which Andre Carnegie has applied, and he has applied in his life, and this secret, he told to Napoleon Hill, and he also requested Napoleon Hill, can you spend 20 years of your life to take this secret to the world and to give it to many men and women who, without the secret, might go through life as failures. Okay. So Napoleon Hill took the promise, and with this promise, he also took this charge and this secret he took to the world. He did 20 years of research, and he did analysis on multiple different kind of people and put practical tests in thousands of people, every walk of life. And the formula what he applied, the secret, that created more number of billionaires and millionaires. You talk about Rockefeller, you talk about Wright brothers, Roosevelt, so many like Henry Ford. All these people have been used the same secret what Andrew Carnegie has applied, and they also got massive success. Now there's something very interesting. The secret we are talking about. What if this secret could have been taught in our school, in our colleges, in our academic system? It could have been obviously a different output, right? So that did not happen. That's a different story. But that was one of the wishes of Andrew Carnegie, to take this secret to education system and revolution the whole system, so that the time spent in our education can be spent to half. Okay. So because what you learn in our school and college days, that only helps you for survival. It doesn't help you to be rich. It doesn't help you to get massive wealth. So this secret, what I'm going to discuss, and there are 14 different, different point of this secret. One of them is specialized knowledge, and we'll discuss more about that. Before I discuss about specialized knowledge and what is this all about, let me welcome the guest in this session today, today's talk show. So we have Shashi Kanth here. Just to give a background on Shashi, Shashi has been with us for last couple of weeks, I can say couple of months. And Shashi can probably get a better intro on that. And he has been also an avid book reader and many more things. So before I talk more about that, let me help welcome Shashi with a big round of applause first. So all of you unmute yourself and can give a round of applause.
Thank you.
All right. So just a quick, Shashi, you can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you. Is my audio clear, Jagannath?
Yes, very much clear. I hope I am also clear to all.
Absolutely.
All right. Shashi, can you give a brief intro about yourself?
Sure, Jagannath. Before actually introduce myself, I would really thank you for arranging this talk show. I think the mission that you and your team have actually set up to realize is one of the most phenomenal things, and I'm really privileged and fortunate to be a part of this group. So I'm Shashi Kanth. and I have about 21 years of experience. And basically, I'm a mechanical engineer, and I used to work for a large aerospace defense company for almost like 13 plus years. And post which, I currently work with a very large IT company, and this has been my kind of a growth over the last 21 years. I also have an executive MBA with me from IIM Bangalore. I shall be talking about how I got there and all that a little later. And the purpose of this kind of introduction that I would like to make is more towards the youngsters who actually I would like them to have a look at this video much later and try to get influenced and be inspired to read more books. Over to you, Jagan.
Great, great, Sasi. I mean, that's very interesting. Being having in the industry for more than 20 years, I mean, that is quite a time when people think I'm done. I don't want to do anything else because I'm already have a difficult life. I have a tough job. I also have to have family take care of it. And you tell me to read books and something else. I mean, that's quite not easy. So, Sasi, can you tell me how actually the book reading came to your life? I mean, was it from day one when you started your career or over a period of time? How actually it evolved?
Absolutely. So, Jagannath, I actually used to like reading a lot of books when I was a child. So this was probably till about fifth or sixth. I used to really read a lot of books, and I used to be inspired by those books. And in fact, I have written a couple of articles as well on those books at those early childhood. But as the pressures of the school and the colleges actually grew, I actually forgot the reading habits. And it took me almost like way back about 15 years, I totally forgot the magic of the books. But however, last 4 or 5 years, again, that magic of reading books has reemerged in my life. And that's how I started reading one book by book. And currently, I'm actually reading three books that I generally do not read one book at a time. I read kind of three books at a time. So just to give you a flair of what I'm currently reading, it's one of the book is obviously the book that we are going to talk about, which is Think and Grow Rich. On the other hand, I'm also reading another book, The Magic of Thinking Big. And the third and yet a very interesting book is by Edward Dibano, which is called Lateral Thinking. So these are the three books that I have been reading. When it comes to this very book, it's very incidental, Jagannath. I have got a very interesting story to tell you with regard to this book.
Definitely,
Actually,
definitely.
yeah, a friend of mine actually gave this book, a physical hard copy, to me about 4 or 5 years back. And sorry, about it was about 4 years back, and I read. It took a long while for me to take it. Almost took me a month to complete this book. And by the time I completed this book and understood the content of what this book was trying to reach, it had impressed me and motivated me and inspired me so much that actually this book, I can say very confidently, is instrumental to me completing my thinking of doing my executive MBA after 19 years working in the industry, and then completing it with the same rigor that I had started with. So this is the wonderful thing. And after joining this book club, I actually have started reading this book again. And the perspectives that I'm getting from the book this time around are totally different from what I used to get. So there's a kind of magic in this book, which probably we will touch upon during this show, Jagannath.
Definitely, definitely. Great. Sasi, your background, your starting point, and how the book reading came to your life, and how things have evolved. Really quite interesting. I'm really happy to know that you are such a avid book reader, and you're reading so many books in parallel. That is interesting. Good. So let's talk about this, Sasi. So currently, as you discussed, that you are reading this Think and Grow Rich also. So there is, as you discussed, a secret, right, which has been defined into 14 different points. So there is desire, faith, and also one of the things is specialized knowledge. So let's understand what is specialized knowledge, because knowledge all of us know. But what is specialized knowledge? Can you throw some light on that?
Sure, Jagannath, I'd be very happy to do that. Knowledge basically comes in two forms. One is the general knowledge that is in large volumes but of little consequence. And the second one is specialized knowledge. And the specialized knowledge is actually the knowledge which is coming from, which helps in the accumulation of wealth, wealth or richness. And when I'm actually talking about wealth or richness, I'm not talking about the physical money that it is going to generate, but wealth could also be in terms of happiness. It could be defined in terms of success, trying to do something new. So this is the way I look at the definition of specialized knowledge. And this book, the way I have understood the topic on the specialized knowledge, it is something that you have to, it's like removing the chaff from the wheat, and it is like trying to go deep down into a particular choice of your interest, or where you have set your goals or your dreams, and then trying to gain more and more knowledge in that particular thing, so that you channelize that knowledge into something which you have set out to achieve, Jagannath.
Very nice. If I understand, specialized knowledge is more about the application of knowledge. It's not only just the knowledge is power, but knowledge in one part of it power, but applied knowledge actual power. Because something you learn and something you implement, there's always a difference, right? Sasi, I think we must pretty much agree on that point. Great. That's quite interesting,
Yeah,
Sasi. But
I
can you give
agree.
me? Yes. So now let's talk about. So let's say I want to apply this as special knowledge, right? So how do I apply it? Are there some different steps are involved? Are there some processes involved where I can apply this specialized knowledge?
Yes, Jagannath. The book actually talks about covers this very nicely. So basically, everything starts with an idea. So it's an idea, or it's a dream, or something that you actually starts the trigger process in your brain cells, in the deepest corners of your brain, and from that, the journey of transforming that particular idea into a reality is what is basically a 6-step process. And to make that realistic, specialized knowledge is one of the very important facets of that, employing that, so that you kind of, when you have that idea, or you have that the emotions that take your ideas along, and then you also kind of put it up with plans, and then you convert those plans into action. And the important constituent of that is the specialized knowledge. So this is where I think the specialized knowledge plays comes into play. And depending upon the context, depending upon the situation, the specialized knowledge kind of changes based on your requirement. So it could be, when I'm talking about specialized knowledge, it could be the marketing skills or the technical skills, or it could be virtually anything where you really want to deep dive into understand how you're converting that idea into reality, Jagannath. Yeah. And
Definitely,
also,
definitely. Yeah.
I would just like to add a little more to what I just mentioned here, Jagannath. So, Jagannath, apart from the specialized knowledge and all these processes, it is also important to have take a help of a mastermind group. So, this is a secret which we shall discuss towards the length, towards the back end of this thing, and try to see how the
Yeah, we'll
mastermind
discuss
group
about that.
actually influence that. Yeah.
Correct, correct. So I have two questions, Sasi. I mean, let's talk this first and second thing. Very, very important. So let's, for an example, what are the different sources of acquiring specialized knowledge? For example, if I'm going to a college, I'm going to a school, I'm doing a professional degree. For example, for being a project manager, I can go for PMP, Scrum Master, or maybe somebody can, who is aspirant engineering, medical, or maybe kind of MBA. Are there kind of specialized education, or there's a different different way of understanding specialized education, or specialized knowledge, I mean to say? What is your opinion on this?
Yeah, my opinion on this is, while whatever we learn from the colleges, maybe it be school or where we meet the engineering colleges or the medical colleges, they give you knowledge, and knowledge, according to me, doesn't give you power. The actual power comes from applying, taking this knowledge and deep diving into it, and putting a process called what is known as a specialized knowledge into play. Let me just give you a few examples to give the viewers what the different types of specialized knowledge are. So one is that you have learned something. Now it's you mix that with your own personal experience and your own education background. Or you could take this idea and then discuss this, collaborate this, or have a very nice kind of cooperation with like-minded people to take this forward. Or you could pick this up from specialized training courses. And this last but not the least, we there are specialized knowledge can also be gained from the internet, from the YouTube, and nowadays there's a lot of emphasis on online courses as well. So you can deep dive and understand to that and get a competitive advantage for yourself in trying to understand the subject better to your advantage.
Excellent, excellent, Sasi. That's very interesting. I mean, I get to know more about specialized knowledge, how this can be acquired from different sources. That's very interesting. Now, let me ask something. Can you give me an example from the book, how this specialized knowledge was acquired and maybe applied somewhere?
Oh, absolutely! I would love to quote from the book. It's there's a very interesting quote from a situation is very typical to probably what the world is experiencing in the COVID post-COVID world, or in the COVID world or the post-COVID world. So there's a salesman who used to work in a grocery store, and he was doing a regular sales job. And as a part of his learning, he also used to do he picked up a little bit of bookkeeping. Unfortunately, because of the bad times that the industry was going on during the deep recession of in America in the 1930s, he soon found out of job. And that's when his brain cells started working. And he said, okay, he then started getting an idea as to use his what is that bookkeeping knowledge, that is the financial accounting part of it. And he came out with a wonderful idea. He said, okay, there are a lot of other companies who can't afford to have a full scale accounting engineer, full scale accounting accountants. So let me go and do a particular skill in a short period of time, and then start applying this, offer my services to small companies. Maybe I will kind of do a kind of a 1 day job a week, or 2 day job a kind of a week thing. And it's always said that luck prefers the prepared. So here he met a very interesting lady, and this lady actually she helped him make a catalog of all the services that he could offer, so that when he went there and he started selling those services to different grocers and different small companies, they started appreciating that a person who is coming here and offering such a nice service at a very low cost. And as he kept on doing this, he used his specialized knowledge to improve and started becoming more and more, picking up more and more fortunes. Jagannath. Yeah.
That's great, Sasi. That's a very good example. I think all of them relate to the story, which are basically how the specialized knowledge has been useful to be successful. Okay, great, Sasi. I like the examples. I like the story and everything. All right. But the most important part is practical application. The challenge, what happens is, when you learn something, how do you apply? So here, let me ask the questions to you. So, what are the challenges you feel that which can stop people from applying the specialized knowledge in their life?
Yeah. I mean, it used to be. I can correlate to this question very well, Jagannath. And one of the things that stops people from actually pursuing their specialized interests, or putting their thoughts into converting their ideas into dreams. One of them is lack of ambition. They do not have that ambition to actually get that going, mainly because of probably attributed to a lot of laziness. And one bad quality which even I have, which I'm trying to get over, is the procrastination, Jagannath. And also, the company makes a lot of difference here. So when you're trying to, if you're actually keeping company with mediocre kind of groups, and having those kind of thoughts which are, you don't have that fire in that belly, you miss all these very interesting facets of life.
Great. That's very interesting, Sasi. I mean, procrastination is something normal to every human being, and obviously, association, as you said, that makes a lot of difference. If you are in a right association, obviously your decision making will not be poor, will not be great, and you'll definitely kind of, will not acquire the knowledge which is required to be successful. That's great. So, let's put this question. This is something very interesting. Is it the only thing to be successful? Because specialized knowledge is something I find is great because it's the application of knowledge what you're talking about, which I understand pretty much. But is it the only thing which will be successful? Or there's something else to it?
I think the way I look at it is specialized knowledge is just one spoke of that big wheel, which actually converts that idea into the physical reality. It could be a product, it could be a service, it could be something that you're trying to do at home, which makes things better for yourselves. But specialized knowledge just will not help, but you should have a fair bit of imagination. You should have a fair bit of creativity to actually to spice up that specialized knowledge to help things make more interesting for yourself and set out on your goal.
Great, great. So you're talking about imagination. You're talking about what is the other point you told?
Uh,
Uh,
the creativity, what I was talking about, right?
Creativity, and also I guess it's very important also to have the mastermind alliance, right? Sasi, what do you suggest?
Oh, yes.
Do you find that also relevant to our kind of thing?
Yes, it's very much relevant, Jagannath. So here, when I'm talking about a mastermind alliance, I'm talking about a mastermind group. This is basically a group of like-minded people, maybe not having the same. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I'm able to hear you. I think Sasi got disconnected, I guess.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So I was just talking about Mastermind Alliance over here. So the Mastermind Alliance is a group of like-minded people who are experts in their own field. So nowadays, if you see, one person can't do anything. He finds himself in short of skills, and it is not possible for him to learn all the skills together and be like a 10-headed Ravana, if you allow me to call. But instead, if you choose a mastermind alliance, these are the people who are there with you, who are support your ideas, who inspire you, who motivate you, and then try and they may not have a physical stake in what you're trying to do, but the influence that they carry on you is very, very phenomenal. So let me just give you an example of two examples of mastermind alliance. One alliance is the alliance that I'm part of, the Awakening Mind group, or the other group where I am part of, where we talk about growth, we talk about books, we share our experiences with. And I know it's every time I enter into, I have told this many times, and every time I enter into a discussion, it is always feeling like I'm back into my family. It's my extended family. So that is one example of a mastermind alliance. The second example that I can kind of think is when maybe you're trying to solve a technical problem and you need those finite set of varied minds thinking about the same thing. So that is also very important here, yeah, Jagannath. Yeah.
That's great, Sasi. I understand mastermind alliance is very important. You should be part of a growth uh, environment. You should be part of ecosystem which nurtures your growth, internal growth, and obviously kind of a kind of platform where you are actually learning from different people. I think that makes a lot of sense. I believe that mastermind alliance is pretty much useful. All right. So, is there any example you can provide about specialized knowledge, something which you feel people can benefit? Some kind of examples, some kind of is there some story behind it? And from the book itself, you can talk about.
Yeah, probably let me try to correlate this with my own experience, Jagannath. So, when I'm talking about converting an idea, it may not be only for myself. I could actually practically implement it at my place of work or at home as well. So let me take an example of a project that we were doing at office, where we were clueless. We just didn't know where to start, and the customer had the faith that we could do it, but we didn't know where to start. So that is when we broke that big thing of work into small components, and then started understanding that these are the things that we are lacking behind. And within the small core group that we had, we started focusing on what things we had to really deep dive and get into the details. And as a part of this learning, uh, it's unbelievable that probably in a matter of about a few months, we were able to master that. And we got ample amount of good recognition both from our customers as well as from our management. So this is where one of a small example of where practically we have used the scenarios to our benefit.
All right. I think that's very interesting, Sasi. I mean, I understand what you discuss is quite valuable input which everybody is going to get out of it. Sasi, is there any other insight which you like to talk about before I summarize?
Probably the insights that I'm kind of trying to say is more directed to the youth of this to this country. So where we kind of stop is we all the focus is mostly on the grades or the CGPAs that we are doing, and in the midst of achieving those CGPAs, which actually generally forget to get value out of it. My only recommendation or my only kind of insight that I would share to the younger group is that while they're actually pursuing their careers in terms of pursuing those CGPAs and those grades, it's also very important to do those projects, those small projects, which will actually tickle your brain cells, make you perform, do better, and pick up those internships maybe of free of cost, and do all those things which will add value tomorrow when you're actually facing going to face these interviews, whether it's a experienced or an inexperienced candidate. It doesn't really matter. It's only that all these things will help you gain the confidence of those employers who will eventually employ you and allow you to add value to them.
Perfect, perfect. So, guys, this is a very interesting discussion. What we heard just now is Shashi Kanth. Just to summarize the discussion overall, so we're talking about a very interesting point, which is the step towards riches. So, we're talking about a secret which was shared by Andrew Carnegie to Napoleon Hill. 20 years of research tried on various people, and we see the results that millionaires and billionaires have created. And there's a wish that this has been taught in our education system, so that we won't end up doing just a job. So this important chapter, important step we're talking about is specialized knowledge. Just to summarize the discussion, what Sasi and we had together. So we discuss about what are the different kind of knowledge. One knowledge is something general knowledge, and second one is specialized knowledge. General knowledge is something we can get from any college, any university, and you can practically in every form the general knowledge can be you can obtain, right? And professors, in fact, and teachers, they all have general knowledge. But the problem is that may not always accumulate to a monetary equivalent. Okay, it may not always convert to monetary equivalent because the problem is the specialization part is missing. Now another knowledge is there where you apply that knowledge in certain way, and that is where you become intelligent. You organize your knowledge, and you definitely go for a kind of an end output where it generates income. You talk about Henry Ford, you talk about Thomas Alva Edison. They are not having just general knowledge, but they are having specialized knowledge, because all these people, if you look at, they are probably not college graduates. Many of them are not university graduates, school dropouts, but they have understood how to apply the knowledge in their life. So sometimes you see people, there are many people who are owning even. I can tell you something from my example, my experience. There are people who are running hospitals, but probably they don't have the general knowledge, but they have the special knowledge and specialized knowledge how a hospital should run. Maybe they don't know how to do surgeries, that is a general knowledge, but they know how to actually run the whole show, how to actually make sure that the establishment the right way and things can work out. So it's not that just knowing kind of bookish thing, but more about how to apply it. And knowledge is not power, applied knowledge is power. That's something very important. And we also discussed about what are the different steps to apply specialized knowledge, and what are different sources to get the specialized knowledge, and what is the thing which stops people from getting the specialized knowledge. It can be procrastination, it can be lack of environment, it can be multiple things. We also discussed about different examples, personal stories, what Shashi Kanth discussed about specialized knowledge. Okay, and I think that is quite interesting, guys. And all of you, I guess, you have to get into more about learning the coming out of the book, coming out of the theories, getting to get your hands dirty, get into the things. Try to work it out something. Try to see if it works or not. Get into practical experience. That is where you can get more about specialized knowledge, and that is what all the millionaires and billionaires have done. That's quite interesting. Now, guys, this is something just to conclude. I can tell you something. This has been a very good discussion so far, and we are very happy to see Sasi in the discussion today. Sasi has good number of experience, good knowledge, practical experience, real-time experience, and kind of knowledge sharing was very informative today. Thanks, Sasi, for joining today. Thanks a lot. I know this was quite a great session for you as well to give knowledge back to society.
It's my pleasure, Jagannath.
Definitely. So, guys, yeah, you want to tell something, Sasi?
Yeah, absolutely. Just before we kind of wind up this show, Jagannath, one thing that I want to actually urge the people who are on this call and also who are going to see this later is to pick up that habit of reading. So this is something that we have forgotten in the midst of all our other things. Pick up those books, pick up those things, and start finding those insights and start applying that. That's where the magic lies. Trust me, that's where the magic lies. Thank you.
Definitely, very interesting, guys. And I'll tell you what, this is good to listen, obviously, but difficult to implement. What Sasi told is very good to listen. I like it. Read a book and all these things. But it's very difficult to implement because you know what? All of us are in a comfort zone. Like Sasi told, procrastination is a disease, the biggest disease in the world. You keep on delaying the things. That is where in Awakening Mind, we have created an ecosystem. We have created a book club. We do a lot of workshops. We do a lot of kind of public speaking sessions. We do talk shows. So these kind of sessions, if you have become part of it, the procrastination will not more a disease for you because you will avoid it. You will learn new things. You learn from the people who are the industry leaders, or experienced people, and they can definitely add a lot of value to your life. And we keep on doing a lot of talk shows. If you're not part of our Facebook group, you can join Awakening Mind group. We also on YouTube. You can join our YouTube channel, and definitely you should be part of the next talk show. With this, we are signing off and see you next time. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.